Of course, over the weekend, the entire wrestling world was paying attention to Saturday night's main event, and then later AEW Double or Nothing. I do want to ask you before we talk about the AEW pay per view. Did you get a chance to catch any of Saturday night's main event?
So I was flying Saturday. So I did. Man, I was a little bit aggravated, Connie. My the Wi-Fi on the flight was a little in and out, but I did. Um, the thing that I missed the Cena match because it was out, but I don't think it went very long. You know what, Conrad? We haven't even caught up on that because we've talked so much AEW. But Saturday night main event. I'm curious to see the cameos and everything with that. But Conrad, how many Saturday night main events are contracted? Are they doing 4 a year, 6 a year? But man, prime time, it's good for the industry. I will say this: when you kind of break down their programming model from premium live event to Saturday night's main event to Raw to SmackDown to NXT, that is a lot of 10 poles. A lot. That is a lot. But yeah, I got a chance to. I'm just trying to think what else was on there. But yes, I did, Conrad. But I was traveling Saturday night.
What do you think of Saturday night's main event, Jeff? What you saw?
The thing with Cena, I'm just curious to see where all that goes. He's in switching him heel, and all the emotion that came out of that. And I'm not saying they didn't have the course charted, but whenever you switch a tip top guy, the old adage comes back into my brain that I was taught: you better have his not first opponent, but it's kind of like their first 3 or 4 if you're going to keep the momentum going. And so that's where I scratch my head. Where are they going with him? And I know Cody is back in the mix, and they kind of did some shucking and jiving. So are they going to switch him back? But, curiosity is what they want out of it. But are they going to switch him back babyface this quick? I don't know. I don't want to say they're in no man's land, but, man, they are awful close to it. I really think awful close to it. So they got to create a little bit more tailwind out of it because they came out of it. What was that? So that'd been March, and we're just at the end of May, Conrad. Better pour some gas on that fire.
Yeah, you got to think this is going to be looked at almost like when Austin turned heel in 2001. And maybe this is an example, another reason why Vince McMahon never gave us the Sting Undertaker match. Because maybe after, because I do know that forever wrestling fans were diehard and adamant. They wanted to see John Cena turn heel. Well, I guess it's sort of be careful what you wish for because now that it's happened, I don't think it's meeting expectations. And maybe some of that is because it was a last minute decision. I still believe that. I don't think this was the plan all along. I mean, the merch wasn't really in sync. And why would you, have, a farewell tour, which is what this is. So let's imagine for a minute that this is not a pro wrestler, but this is a musical act. And so you're going to have a farewell tour for this beloved band, this iconic band that's had a decades long string of hits. And now that they're going to go out and tour for their farewell tour, they refuse to play any of their classic hit songs. They just want you to hear their new stuff. That's not why fans are showing up to a farewell tour. They want to hear you play the hits, and to have John Cena be a bad guy, I feel like is going to be something that when people look back one day, they'll say, now, why did they do that? Because the match they're setting up, Jeff, is a tag match. It's going to be John Cena teaming with Logan Paul against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. Like, that's hard for me to imagine this was the plan all along. Jeff, before you had an internet problem, we were talking a little bit about the tag match that's coming at the next pay-per-view, and you got tickled.
And I don't know why, but this is definitely a dated reference. It kind of feels like jumping the shark a little early. Yeah, Conrad, so that is a little bit news to me, so I hadn't been completely on top of it. But your analogy about playing the hits, to me, is spot on. And look, we obviously aren't sitting behind the desk and I know creative subjective, and there's so many different moving parts. But just the fundamental of all this. And I can remember going back to way back when, and I'll call it kind of the early 90s, when Lawler was coming up to the WWE, or he was back and forth. He was announcing. So he was a heel announcer and a baby face on TV. And then he would go back and forth between Texas, there were times that Lawler was just like, man, let me just switch heel completely. And him and my old man had kind of headbutting sessions, because he was like, Jerry, the people here in this territory, and look, I understand. He understood that Texas is an audience. Obviously, the much bigger audience is the Monday Night Raw, and being the heel color commentator, he said, but as far as it goes around here, people don't want to see you as a heel. They just don't. You're the legendary babyface. You've climbed all mountains. They want to see you pull the strap down. They want to see you, let me back up. They want to see you get in the ring, entertain us, get the shit beat out of you for about 15 or 20 minutes, pull the strap down, knock people all over the place, give the pile driver 1, 2, 3. In what you just said, Conrad, playing the hits. And so I do think there is a real fundamental principle here that I'm sure the people at TKO, and I'm sure, in the writer's room and the creative process, and the kind of, and if you're saying it's a spur of the moment, yeah, let's switch John heel. But it goes back to, hey guys, this is exactly why Vince didn't want to do it. There is a very quick shelf life. And when it runs out, are we really, truly, at the end of the day, going to have more black ink than red? I'm going to say no, Conrad, just what you said, the merch and all that. But look, this tag match, who's going to benefit coming out of it? Let me ask you that, Conrad. Out of those 4 guys, will Logan? No. Cena? No. Cody? No. Jay? No. Okay. I think I answered the question before I asked it. What's your thoughts on the tag, though, Conrad? Like, what's that for? A place on the card, placeholder?
I think it's, hey, we're contractually obligated to deliver a PLE.
Yeah, I get that.
It's a placeholder. It gets us to the next show.
It's going to sell
But
in LA. It will.
It does feel like Helicopter Rock is to blame for this. Now maybe we're reading too much into that. But The Rock told the story on Pat McAfee of the John Cena turn. He wanted Cody to turn. Clearly, Rock wanted to be involved in an angle. They pitched, hey, what if Cena did it? That's what we see. I do wonder if the reason Vince never turned Cena is because he learned maybe what not to do with Austin. I mean, even when he brought Hogan back the following year. So as a reminder, Austin turns heel in 2001, just after WCW goes down, just a week later. So with no competition, he does the unthinkable, and he turns Austin heel. I think Austin really wanted to do that too, and Vince acquiesced to that. And the result was the business was way down. So they tried to do the invasion angle once they realized that, hey, the Austin heel turn wasn't working. That didn't really work. So in February of 2002, after they blow off the invasion angle in November of 2001, a few months later, they say, well, hey, let's just try bringing back the NWO for No Way Out, that February pay-per-view. And fans didn't really want to boo Hulk Hogan. Like, they had last seen Hulk Hogan in the WWF as a babyface. And I know that we're not going to pretend the NWO didn't happen, but I think WWF fans at a WWF event, they wanted to celebrate the nostalgia of the red and yellow that was apparent at WrestleMania 18. So it just feels like Vince had seen the writing on the wall that, hey, this John Cena heel turn, it's not going to be what everybody wants it to be. And if it really is the farewell tour, I think when it's all said and done, people are going to think about this as a misstep.
Yeah, well, and just kind of to my point that Vince's personal experiences with the Austin in 2000, 01, 02, whatever it may be, I'm talking about my old man, we'll call it early 90s. And I'm sure, wasn't in the room, but you go back into any territory and we'll call it the legendary babyface, whether it's Fritz or Bill Watts or Dusty Rhodes or whoever it may be, any of the 22 territories or whatever. There comes a point where the legacy babyface, and like you said, the legacy bands, like, AC/DC just played here in Nashville at the stadium. I know they had a crazy rainstorm, but I'm sure they didn't really close with new material or any of these guys. The Stones don't kind of break out new. They want to see which you said it, shit, Conrad. Play the hits, man. Play the freaking hits. And they're in so many ways. You look at John's persona. We're in, it depends on what you believe in. Every 7 years, a kind of a turnover of fandom. I mean, John, here we are in 2025. So I think John was at his peak more than 7 years ago. So it could be a whole new generation of fans that, anyhow. Oh, Connie, we could talk on this forever, but creative is subjective, but it just feels like what you said, a misstep.
You've heard me talking about credit card debt and how it's risen to a record $1.21 trillion. Well, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, 60% of credit card holders are carrying a credit card balance each month, with the average credit card interest rate being 23%. But right now, we're all still living with a lot of economic uncertainty. But one thing I'm certain of is your home is still worth more than what you paid for it. And instead of carrying that debt month to month and taking on new debt, why not just use the equity in your home instead? Someone who did exactly that is a listener to this show, Bo, a machine operator from Pinson, Alabama. His family had 4 different vehicles break down around the same time. And as you can imagine, there's a whole lot of unplanned expenses there. So when life throws you a curveball and you need to phone a friend, let us hook you up like we did Bo at savewithconrad.com. At the time, we were not able to help him out, but we did give him a plan and a timeline. You see, at savewithconrad.com, we don't say no, we say not yet, but here's how. And once we hit that timeline, we were able to help him use the equity in his house to not only pay off all the debt, but also situate the vehicles. He got one fixed. He got some new vehicles. Hell, we even helped him find a more affordable homeowner's insurance plan. That alone saved him over $200 a month. Go right now to savewithconrad.com and let my team run the numbers for you. It's totally free. There's no cost. There's no obligation. And if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. It costs nothing to look. But I want to let you know right now with our team at savewithconrad.com, we also give you the year 3 guarantee. Experts agree that interest rates are expected to fall in the next couple of years. And what this guarantee allows you to do is refinance in the next 3 years without any new lender fees. So you lock in a better rate and reduce your monthly payments right now. And when interest rates fall in the next couple of years, you refinance again without a whole nother set of closing costs. All that newfound equity in your home is the answer to what you've been looking for if you're feeling stressed out and making minimum payments on your credit cards, or maybe you just need some cash to help with your cars, or maybe you've got a honey-do project. Maybe when you bought your house, you thought one day we'll upgrade the bathrooms. One day we'll upgrade the kitchen. You can do that right now and never have to move. Get the cash you need to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket at savewithconrad.com. Again, you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket. Even if you were bankrupt a couple of years ago, we can still help you out. We're not going to say no. We're going to say not yet, but here's how. Find out how easy it is to let my family save money for your family at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender, savewithconrad.com.